Hello everyone. On my career, I started my career with IBM. Actually, I was in the second last semester of my bachelor's. I was picked up by IBM for a co-op assignment. After the co-op assignment, I think it was for 6 months. 3 months down the line, I was offered a permanent position. Um, I worked for IBM for 5 years, 2 years in Endicott, the birthplace of IBM, New York, and then 3 years in Connecticut. After that, I moved to New York. I was working for Ernst& Young, worked for Ernst& Young for 3 years. I was covering the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And after that, I had this desire to get global experience. For that, I got a great opportunity with KPMG. I worked for KPMG at Saudi Arabia. I worked for 5 years. When I was leaving KPMG, I was leading their Western region for IT advisory. Around at the end of 5 years, I actually had this desire to do some entrepreneurial, uh, have some entrepreneurial experience. So for that, I joined hands with three Saudis and formed a company called Opco. We opened a back office, development office in Pakistan. We hired like 26 girls and guys, developers at the Pakistan office. We did great in 1 year. I think we achieved like $1.6 million as a annual revenue for the first year, which was great. After that, I was offered a position from IKEA. I worked for IKEA for 3 years. I was a country consumer navigation manager for IKEA for both Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. Around 3 years after working there, I was connected with Waqar Islam on LinkedIn. I saw a post on Hysab Kytab and I loved it. I had been thinking about moving to Pakistan. I had the desire to work in Pakistan and get the experience here. I wanted to feel how it feels to work in Pakistan. So it was one of the best opportunity. Moved here. Have been with Hysab Kytab since January 1st, 2019. So far, it has been a great experience. The three things that people would be surprised to know about me is that people do think that I base all my decisions on the due diligence that I do, a lot of number crunching that I do. But I do listen to my intuitive sense a lot. After all that, you can say like the basic work of doing all the due diligence. What mainly I rely on in terms of my decision making is the intuitive sense that I have. The other thing is that I personally, one of the things that I try to do, and not a lot of people think that I'm able to do it, including my family sometimes, but I try to disassociate myself from work when I get home and I'm with the family. Achievements, personal and professional, I think all that I'm very proud of. The fact that every time I had this desire to do something, I'm very proud of this fact that I did it, no matter what, the fears I had to overcome. For example, whether it was moving from IBM to New York City, for example, to get into the advisory side of Ernst& Young. I did that when I wanted to get the global experience. I, moved to Saudi Arabia. That was a big cultural, you can say, change in my life. Then after that, if it was, moving from Saudi Arabia to within Saudi Arabia, it was moving from a big name, you can say, a company to work for, a known established name, KPMG, to doing my own venture. I did that. And then when it came to Hysab Kytab, to leave Saudi Arabia and a very set job, which was financially very fruitful, being the country consumer navigation for two countries, apart from the salary, the perks you were getting were something that I knew that I won't be able to get that when I arrive in Pakistan. But because this is something which I know that I'll make a better future for myself, I'll earn more than what I was doing prior to coming to Pakistan. But this is more of a personal desire that I want to do something for Pakistan. I wanted to create an application that can go global. The first application that that proudly we can say that was made in Pakistan, and we can take it to the global market. So this is something that I'm very proud of. Other than that, You know, you know, whenever I think of the personal life, it all begins when you are a son to your parents, your brother, to your siblings, and then your husband to your wife, and your, you know, a friend and a father to your kids. So I think in my personal life has also been very rewarding. I have a beautiful family, and I basically enjoy every second of my time with them. So it's the biggest, you know, I wouldn't call it an achievement, rather I would call it a blessing. But like the achievement is from my side, like, you know, whatever I can do for my family, I do it. So I think, like, you know, that's that. Areas of personal and professional development. Basically, like, you know, because I've moved to Pakistan this year, joined Hysab Kytab in January. So one of the things for both personal and professional development that I'm looking for is a good networking. You know, I want to know great people around here in Pakistan and to get connected with them. I just met Umar Abedin, a great guy. You know, it is a pleasure to be connected with him. Likewise, I would love to meet a lot of people, make new friends. I already have a lot of friends here in Pakistan because you know, I grew up kind of like in my childhood. I grew up here. I have a big family over here, but like still, you know, professionally, I would like to be associated and connected with a lot of good people. So that's one area that I'm working on. Advice for the aspiring market, you know, individual professional marketers and entrepreneurs is that do not ever let your fear stop you from doing anything. One of the things that I've always enjoyed is that, you know, that overcoming of your own fear is one of the biggest enjoyment you'll get. And once you start doing that, it becomes almost like, you know, whenever there is a fear, you know that on the other side of a fear is a success story waiting for you. So one of the things that I would advise them is to never give up any dreams or any aspirations just because of fear. And the fears are normally like, you know, those things that most of the time those fears are the reasons why people stop doing the best things in their life. So my advice, one advice would be to not give up for the fears that you have. You know, choice to the marketeers product and marketing products and service. Basically it would be Hisab Kitab. So at this point in time, I'm fully like the only thing that I think about is Hisab Kitab. So definitely, like, you know, the other you know, ideas that I'm working on, but they all fall under the umbrella of Hisab Kitab. So it is Hisab Kitab. I'm a single focus person. So once I'm working on something, that's the only focus I have in my life. So until I make that success and move on to the next one. So right now it is Hisab Kitab. Responsibility towards community. I think, like, you know, we all you know, this is a first of all, I would like to define the community. So I've lived in a global setup. So I was in US where, you know, that at one point was my community. Then I moved to Saudi Arabia at that point. That became my community. And then when I moved to Pakistan now, you know, this is my homeland, this is my community. So as a business or as an individual, one of the things we should all strive for is what do we give back to the community. So for example, from the Hisab Kitab platform, one of the things that we have done recently is we have signed up you know, a partnership with the commissioner of Karachi here. So when I moved to Pakistan, one of the things that I saw it was missing here in Pakistan was you know, an emergency contact number. For example, in US, you just pick up a phone call for any kind of emergency, and you say like, you know, and the other person at 911 would say like, what's your emergency? How can we help you with that? So over here, this was something which was missing. So we came up with the idea of Siren. So we are now trying to partner with all the government entities, the agencies that are the backbone of responding to any emergency. So the first, you know, the agency or the government entity that we have partnered with is the 1299, which is the emergency contact center that the Commissioner Office of Karachi have developed. We have partnered with them on pro bono basis. We are trying to help people. Like now, imagine, like, you know, if there is someone who is in the need in a medical emergency situation. So this person, all he or she have to do is that they have to just click silence button. Automatically their emergency contact numbers, which are the ICE, like in case of emergency number, which is their friends and families, they will be notified with the kind of emergency, the location of the person, while the agencies are being contacted. So by clicking one button, all of those, whether it's your, in case of emergency number, your family and relatives and friends, or it is the agencies, all of them will be informed about your emergency. They will be informed about the kind of emergency, any special care that you have to take, and they'll be on their route to help you. And on your phone, you'll be able to see, like, there are situations when people in emergency cannot even tell about the agencies or someone who's coming to help them about their blood group. So all of that information will be stored in your profile. Anyone who's coming to help you would know what special attention they need to give you, and so on and so forth. So this was one way of us giving back to the community. But like I personally believe that a CSR program, or giving back to the community, is vital to the growth of any company. And this is something which should be part of the DNA of a company. And it's not the company, it is at the individual basis. What do you do? And in your personal life, how do you influence? It doesn't have to be a big some big thing. For example, it could be someone who is your help, your chowkidar, your driver, the maid that works at your home. It could be someone who's outside, and they're begging for money, but like rather than giving them money, you can get them a fruit cart and help them become a salesperson. So the point is that there's especially in Pakistan, there's ample of opportunity for everyone to do a lot, and basically our community needs a lot of these initiatives from individuals. So I guess like these were the 7 questions that I received from Omar. I'm very happy to be connected with Omar. And Omar, thank you so much for having a coffee with me. I look forward to connecting with other people as well. There are a lot of good things we are doing at Hysab Kytab. I invite everyone to check up, check on things that we are doing. And bye bye.